Here we go. I fooled you, didn't you? Thought it was going to be our producer, Cheryl Spence. And oh no, it's me, Tracy Lithcutt, the host of the show, with my main man, Jay Jizzy.
That's right, folks. We are back in effect.
Back in effect.
Trey, I gotta say, man, I miss you, man.
I miss you too, Jay.
I
love you, baby.
I love you too, baby.
See, all that love gets that pregnancy going. That's what happens when you get in love. Pregnancy comes after that.
That does happen.
That's what we're talking about today on our show, What's on the Menu. We're going to talk about the woman's pregnancy period, the
good,
the bad,
and the ugly.
Oh, is there an ugly part, Jay?
Oh, yes, there is.
We're going to discuss that today. Yes, we are. On our panel today, we have a real all-star cast today. They look like they're about to be in the firing squad. They all look so scared. I don't know what's going on here. No one's smiling or anything. First on our panel, and I better get this last name correct, or she said she will hurt me. She's an educator, and she goes by the name of Mariska Barossi.
He jacked it up already.
Mariska Barossi.
Oh, Mariska. I thought I had it down, Jay. Oh, my goodness. I'm going to be in trouble when I leave the studio. Next, we have a whole round of educators today. Next, we have a woman. She didn't say anything about messing up her last name, so I'll just throw it out there. She goes by the name of Haley Downey.
That's right.
All right. Oh, yeah, that's right. She sounds confident. We have another woman panelist who's a school counselor. Molded the minds of our young folks. She goes by the name of Carla Barry.
Hi.
All right. Hi. She's there. My girl, always there for me, worked for the city of Boston, Age Strong Commission as a program director. She goes by the name of Taisha Jones Horner.
Hey.
She said, make sure you get that Jones. I had an identity before I got married. I'm just not taking just the last name. Oh, no, we don't. My man been here numerous times. He keeps it fly, keeps us moving, is going to give the male's perspective on this today. Don't get nervous. He goes by the name of Basil Waj.
Peace, everyone.
All right, he's in the house. Latecomer. Didn't really give me a chance to practice her last name, but I'm hoping I don't mess this up, Jay.
Let's see if you get this right.
She's a healthcare professional, and she goes by the name of Christina Candelario.
Oh,
Did it with the accent, Candelario. Oh, with the accent. That's right. So we're here to talk about the woman's pregnancy period. But before I start that, Jay, I'm going to my third wedding this summer. Jay, I hate weddings.
I don't like weddings, man.
I hate weddings. I got to spend money. I got to dress up.
Yes. You look fine today. I see you got the whole white on.
I got the whole hookup on you. It's not the whole hookup. Break it out with the new jacket. Yeah, I didn't want to break it out quite yet. Yep. But I got that else that I want to wear today. I'm like, man, why I got to do? And it's on a Sunday. Jay, lucky it's not a football Sunday.
I know.
Because I already told my girl, I'm sick.
You skip that.
I'm sick. I can't make it today. I can't go out the house. Tom Brady's on. Let's get right into this panel discussion, folks. Pregnancy period, the good. We're going to focus on the good first, all right? I just want to know, how did you know you were pregnant? And I'm hoping you've had babies, because that's why you run this panel. So
I didn't know I was pregnant.
You didn't know?
How I found out, I felt nauseous, and then that's how I knew I was pregnant.
That's all.
Sickness is the worst.
So I was already 8 weeks in. I didn't know.
Oh my goodness! Wow. Anyone else? How did you know?
Well, I thought I had the flu, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm so sick." And then the doctor came in and was like, "You're pregnant with the 9-month flu." I was like, "What's the 9-month flu?" And then she was like, "You're pregnant." I was like, "What?" I was like, "This can't be right. How did that happen?" And she's like, "How do you think?"
Did you figure it out?
Yeah, I did.
I hope so. I hope so. But still, by any chance, how did you know? How did your girl know that she was having a baby?
Well, first of all, I didn't believe her.
You said you didn't want to believe her, or you didn't believe her?
No, I wanted to. But I wanted to. I was skeptical. But she was like, I know I'm pregnant. But I treated her as if she was pregnant. We went to go to the doctors, and they said no. But then later on, she was. So she in the end, she was correct.
Wow.
I see. I don't know what it is. I don't know if because I got the name Tracy now, but I knew before they did.
You did?
I got 2 kids' mothers, and I got the morning sickness.
No.
I was like, wait,
that's crazy.
What
You
is this?
scared?
The first time I was scared.
I think I'm pregnant.
I was real immature at a young age.
I was scared too.
I thought they said I was having a baby. I was like, what? This is gonna be the first time in the history of man. Oh my goodness! Sounds like if this what women go through. But we'll talk about the other part later.
I had the morning sickness.
The other stuff's so easy. I could have went through all that other stuff. But what would you say?
I said I had the morning sickness.
Did you?
Yeah, the morning
How'd you
after.
feel?
I don't know. I was just throwing up, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I think I might have got her pregnant."
You sounded very happy. This is the good part, Jay. This is good. So, ladies, someone tell me the beginning stages of pregnancy. What was it like for you?
I didn't have any morning sickness. I was never sick at all throughout my pregnancies. But, you get you're tired, you get fatigue, you get the breast tenderness.
Tender breast.
Tender breast,
Can
yes.
you say that on the air, Reverend Wall? We said it twice.
It's already been.
It's not a swear.
Little signs. You get heartburn. There's other things that come along with it.
Miss Candelaria, how about you? How did you? What was it like? What were the beginning stages?
I was a little different than Carla. I was really sick. I couldn't smell anything. I couldn't keep anything down. And that was right after I found out I was pregnant. I didn't know. And I felt like immediately once I found out, I was like, oh my God, I'm sick. And then it was a wrap after that.
I haven't heard anybody say anything good about it yet.
Well, I have something to say. So for some women, you don't get your menstrual period, and that's for most of us.
Oh, that was
so
a
for
plus.
the first couple of months, I
Yeah,
thought
that
I
was
was
a plus.
I thought I was living life, and then I was like, wait a second, third month, something's wrong, So definitely.
Let me see what happened to me. I blew up, basically. Gained weight. My feet were swelling.
That's not a good thing. Feet swelling.
No.
Okay, I just thought
no.
thought out there since I've never gone through feet
My
swelling.
feet was swelling. I was vomiting. And then sometimes, I couldn't take the smell of my husband. And he would just come out of the shower smelling. He thought he smelled so good. And I was like, oh my God, if you don't go back in the shower right now, I'm going to vomit. So sometimes he would have to go back in the shower everything off.
That's a
and
good
then
man
put on
right
a new
there.
scent.
I ain't taking no shower. I'm gonna get the shower.
No, he had to. It wasn't like I was really gagging and like I'm gonna throw up right now.
Wow.
I just said, could you go out on the porch for a little while? No, that would have been worse. That you really caused some problems there. So let's just go into this. Let me back up. For the 2 women that I've had children with, I just want to say how much I appreciate you. I am not don't ever do that. I'm not a nice guy.
Sorry.
Just kidding. Just kidding. I appreciate everything that you went through during that period. It was special. I mean, it was special. Let me put it that way. But let me let's talk about this part. Women, can you just imagine that a body grows inside your body?
That's serious.
I mean, a woman's body, a man's body ain't nothing. We can't do nothing but go to the bathroom. That's all we do. But a woman,
human being.
a body growing inside your body. How does that make you feel
Grow in the body
to
and
give
come out that
life?
small
You
hole.
give life in this world.
Responsible. Felt like completely responsible and nervous and then when the baby finally came out, I was like, oh, this is real. Oh shoot, this,
Responsible for a whole human being.
I mean, at least that's how I felt.
So what else? Try me,
I
ladies.
feel like it's not about you anymore once the kid comes. The kid comes first. It's a life-changing thing. It's like another job, pretty much.
When I had my son, I realized it wasn't about me anymore either. It was about my wife.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's not about you no more.
I got pushed to the side a little bit.
But ladies, when there's a body inside your body, and that body is moving around inside of you. That's something that men, we will never know. We can I'll tell you, you can touch, you can feel it moving. And,
Feel like little butterfly flutters.
But I'm sure that the baby's leaning on certain organs. And tell me, just talk about the experience.
I feel like it's an awkward experience. You know what I mean? Like, you'll have a foot in your rib, and it's almost like it'll take your breath away for a second, and you have to kind of push it out and readjust. It's almost like an alien.
Oh, you can push it around.
Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? Like when they get stuck, and then it's like you'll be laying down and you can see your hand just like move across your stomach. It's a very strange but like cool experience at the same time.
I think it's a beautiful thing, from the very beginning when your stomach starts to grow just a little bit, and then as time goes on, it grows even bigger and bigger, and I feel like it's just like, it's amazing how you can grow another human inside of you.
Yeah.
And it teaches you to, want to eat healthier, and it actually does good for your body.
Sure,
in a
sure.
sense.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Didn't know that. How many of you guys really ate healthy and did everything that the doctor said?
I didn't do
was
everything.
addicted.
I didn't do everything.
No one.
Bologna
I didn't do
sandwiches were
everything.
my best friend.
Oh, no.
Bologna?
Bologna sandwiches. I would send my husband to the store to get 2 loaves of bread. 2 loaves.
2 loaves.
And a big thing of bologna, big package of bologna, and I would sit on the couch and eat bologna sandwich after bologna sandwich
Oh, my
after bologna
goodness.
sandwich.
What about the
That
rest of you?
feeling, yeah.
Ooh, delicious.
Well, I never ate vegetables before being pregnant, and I started eating vegetables. I started eating more fruits.
Okay.
And just being very careful about what I put into my body.
Sure. This is all still part of the good period. So what was it like at birth when you finally make it into the room? Who was there with you? That was an experience that I almost passed out. Let me tell you what happened to me. So I was in college. I was working overnight. I got home. There was a note that my fraternity brother had taken my girlfriend to the hospital. So I get there. Now this is when the fear just really kicked in. Everything was cool until I knew there was an actual body coming. I got there. So they said to me, take off your stuff and put this on. So I thought I had to be sterile. I took everything off. I took drawers off, socks off, everything. And they gave me the Johnny, so I walked in and the back of the Johnny's hanging out. I didn't know. They said, we didn't need to take everything off. Just
Give birth yourself.
I know. I stayed there. I was too scared to leave the room. I didn't think I could make it back, so I stood there with my booty hanging out and everything while giving birth. But who was there? Tell me what it was like, ladies.
So I had high-risk pregnancies for all 3 of my births.
What's that? What's high risk? What does that mean?
So it just means that I'm high risk. I go in early. For some reason, my body couldn't keep the baby in long enough. So my first time I had my daughter, I was only 26 weeks pregnant. That's equivalent to about 5 months.
Wow.
So when she came out, she was 12 ounces. And let me tell you, when she was in there and I was going through labor, I thought she was about 10 pounds. I was in there like, oh, God, help me. Prince, oh, she's coming. And when she finally came out, it was like a little kitten cry. She was so tiny that we could barely hear her. She was just like, yeah, yeah, and just fit right in the palm of my hand.
Was she a preemie?
She was a preemie. When she was 5 months, she was 5 pounds, and that's when she came home. Wow. So who was with me was her father and my cousin, and they was just like, it was unbelievable to see this little baby.
That's a blessing from God, dude. That's a blessing
absolutely.
from God.
Her name is Angelique.
Angelique,
Right.
you here with us now, Angelique?
Yeah.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Well, I thought I was going to have a dream pregnancy. I used to watch the Baby Story, and I was like, I'm going to have my baby in the water.
Oh,
and it's just
gosh.
going to be a beautiful situation. So then I started feeling like contractions like a week or something before, and I was like, oh, I think my water broke. And I was giving my husband a hard time. I was like, I'm not going to the hospital, because if I go to the hospital, they're not going to let me eat. So I sat there.
You rather eat?
I was like, this is the things you go through when you're pregnant.
Yeah.
I was like, I got to eat. So I had my pizza, and at the time, I loved Elio's
A whole pizza?
It was like a little Elio's pizza.
A little whole pizza.
So I ate that, and then I was like, I'm gonna take the bus. I don't want to rush. And I think it was my anxiety of just like, is this really happening? I'm going through contractions. I want to eat, whatever. So we finally get there, And so I am going. I'm in labor, and then they're like, oh, okay, we'll just let it, give you some Pitocin to kind of kick it up. And then all of a sudden, he goes into distress, and everything started happening. The doctors rushed in. I'm like, oh Lord. I'm like, this is not what it was like on Baby Story. So I'm looking at my husband, and I'm like, oh God. So then they're like, ma'am, we need to take you in right now. And I was like, oh God. They started moving fast, and then they're like, you need to go change. And so they were wheeling me out, and they're like, we have to go now. And I was like, no. He has to be in there just like Baby Story. He needs to hold my hand.
Oh, man.
And I was like, I need to make sure that. And then I was watching other stories, about how the baby got lost and everything. I said, this is not happening to me. My husband will be in there. And then like, you need to go now. I was like, just make sure. Hurry up. So anyway.
Did he make it?
He made it.
Okay.
What's his name?
He's good to go. Zay Andre.
Oh goodness gracious! I'm lucky I got to say that again.
Zay Andre.
Zay Andre. Borowski.
What?
No. I'm mixing it up.
Zay Andre.
Candelaria. No. I'm mixing them up. I'm sorry. One more story. Who else was in there with you? Who else? One more.
I had everyone in there with my delivery. I had my mother, my father, my baby's father, my sister.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, they
was the mailman, the bus.
Everybody was in there. Everyone was in there. Yeah, and it was.
Take a look.
I was 2 weeks late, so they had to induce me.
Okay.
And he came right out though. I mean, and everyone was just celebrating.
How quick?
I don't know, maybe like an hour and a half.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, it was great. We all
Did you
celebrated.
go natural?
No, I did have an epidural.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah, I did for both children.
It all sounds good at the beginning. I'm going without the painkiller.
Yeah.
I don't need it.
For real.
After that first contraction,
Yeah.
no, Lord, I give it all to the man, everything.
And I tried to hold off. I did the bathtub. I did the massages, the bouncing of the ball.
They should have warned you about,
No.
they should warn men about what centimeters mean. And we're going to get into that because we're done with the good. We're about to go to the bad and the ugly. But before we do that, Jay, what do we have from around the country?
Yo, so people's been tuning in right now, and we got my man Chris from the A. He asks, do the nipples leak during the foreplay? Like, let's say if you're intimate with your husband or your significant other,
them nipples be leaking.
Yes.
Does it leak? I don't
Yes.
know.
What is this guy's name?
His name is Chris.
Chris, step away from the microphone, Chris. Step away. Ladies?
Does it? I don't know.
Yes.
They leak everywhere. In the store, outside the store, doing foreplay.
Yes.
I mean,
While you were pregnant?
Yeah.
after.
Oh,
wow,
after.
like at the end, yeah, they be leaking.
I mean, afterwards, but
Just hold up a glass.
I was like, this ain't right.
So breast milk is very expensive. I did the calculation because for the first 2 weeks I was buying it, and it's more valuable than gold.
Yes.
Okay, Basile, you're making me think here. Did you drink some, Basile?
Yeah, some with his cereal.
Yeah.
I did it. It was too weird for me.
I tasted it.
my husband drinks some.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Tell me more. Tell me more.
I'm vegan. I don't.
We got Miss Cassandra. Shout out to Miss Cassandra from the Washington, D.C. area. She says, I am a 17-year-old and I'm 4 months pregnant. And she said, wanted to ask the panel, how do you deal with the pressure of carrying a human inside of you? That's open to the panel.
I was actually going to Northeastern University when I had my first child, and just all the pressure thinking about how I was going to take care of her made me just drop out of school. And that was a decision that I wish that I didn't make. But the only thing that I can say is, if rely on family, you have to do a lot of praying, and just know that you can do it. I thought that I couldn't, but in the end, I was a really good parent.
Yeah, I agree. I did a lot of praying. It takes a village. You can't, you can do it on your own, but it's really hard to do it on your own. You have to look at resources, any resources in your neighborhood or wherever you're from, take all the resources that you can possibly get.
Okay.
We have my man Bobby from Miami, Florida. He says, now, do you already love the baby before you even meet him?
Yes.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
I
That
think so. I
connection.
think when I saw the ultrasound, I was like, oh my God. Like, you know, they tell you you're pregnant.
Yeah.
Right? But then when you're in there and you see the baby move, even before you can actually feel them inside, it's just like amazing. Like you created this human being.
I remember that too when my son was being born. And once I saw the ultrasound, I was like, oh snap, this is really about to happen. And it was almost like he was throwing up a peace sign. Like, yo, I'm coming out, son.
I'm coming.
Shout out to Jay. He's outside right now. Little Jay. Like, all right, we got who else? We got Eric from Boston. He says, did you know you were pregnant before you officially found out?
Some of us didn't.
No.
I had a dream that I was pregnant with a daughter.
Really?
I eventually was pregnant with a daughter.
Wow, she Martin Luther King did.
Yeah,
I had a dream.
And she ended up in my belly.
So folks, we're gonna go into another stage in this conversation now. So, as we said, the pregnancy period, there is a good and there is a bad part of it for some of us. All right. Mm-hmm. Now, I know some of you read my comments, which you weren't supposed to, but I did give it a sheet. But there's something in between the good and the bad. When I had each one of my children, when my girls were pregnant, my girlfriend and my wife, ex-wife, get these statements correct, Tracy.
Yeah, correct, right?
Yes. There was something that totally changed about sex when she got pregnant. Everything just went away. The food tastes better, flowers smell better. I mean, it was just much different and much better. And I heard some of the women in the lobby acknowledging what I was saying.
One of my
So
husbands
did
all the
somebody-
time, morning, noon, and night.
There's a whole new stage of sex.
Slow down.
Well, I know for my first pregnancy, I was chasing him around the room. And he was like, enough. Like, he had to tell me to stop. But the other pregnancies, I think I was just, like, so sick. And then things were just a lot looser.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah,
Okay,
just like a lot looser.
we gotta put a period on that sentence right there. 'Cause this is kind of church radio here. We gotta be careful what we say. Now you said you agree with me in the lobby. Tell me what you meant.
I enjoyed having intercourse when I was pregnant.
Yeah, it was different, right?
I was one wanting it all the time.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. You know, from a man's perspective too, it's kind of different. You feel like you're beating your child up.
Yeah.
Right.
You're kind of thinking about you're like, oh no, it's something that
Am I hitting you in the head?
Yeah, I can't do this. I can't.
How does it feel for the man?
I know.
Well, I was nervous. It was almost like I don't want to crack an egg. Like,
Yeah.
Sorry, kids. Sorry, children.
For real.
But sometimes, there might be like a bleeding situation that gets scary in between the intercourse. So that happened to me.
Did you say bleeding or screaming? Because I did a whole lot of screaming during that period.
Bleeding.
Okay.
Bleeding.
Oh, it was just special. I was screaming every time.
Wow, really?
Oh, God, thank you.
So, like I told you all, I was high risk pregnancy, so I had to get a cerclage to close everything in, my cervix in. And so we couldn't do anything for months. So when they put that cerclage in, I was like, come here, baby. Let's put it on. For sure. I was like, yeah.
Had a whole lot of fun. So, okay, don't forget, now we're in the bad stage here. We're in the bad stage of pregnancy. So, ladies, what is it like when your booty spreads, your nose spreads, your breasts get tender, your feet get large? Is there anything I'm forgetting?
Oh, the mood swings.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Talk
Like
about
Shrek's
the mood
wife.
swings. Talk about the mood swings.
Oh, it's
What were
just,
your mood swings like?
it's like an emotional roller coaster. It's just like up and down for months, and you can't find like a happy medium. You're like, why are the dishes in the sink? Like, why am I crying over like overboiled pasta?
Commercials. Dove commercials.
You're looking at the waterfall. You're like, this is so beautiful.
What other mood swings did you ladies go through?
Anything, like when they say don't cry over spilt milk, you cry over spilt milk. Like you cry at the drop of a dime. I would be walking down the street and I'd be like, did you just look at her? She could be an old lady. It wouldn't even matter. I'm like, oh, so you're attracted to older women now?
Just forgot all about you, huh?
It just
All
wouldn't
about
even matter.
you. So what about the body when it just the way the stomach, the rear end and everything just?
Yeah, I'm still working on that. My kids
Hold
in
on
the
to
20s.
it.
For me, like I felt, I didn't feel sexy. I felt ugly. A lot of the,
Really?
I had 3 pregnancies. Yes.
All three
All
you felt
3.
that way?
All
Yeah,
3.
I
Yeah.
felt like Shrek's wife.
Yeah. I mean, like everything spreads, and you just feel nasty.
What's the worst? What affects your body the most?
Your
Stretch
stomach,
marks.
Yeah,
Stretch marks.
stretch
stretch
mark.
marks, stomach, yeah.
So
Weight gain.
My stretch marks.
Yeah.
My stretch marks are my war.
War
that's
wounds.
just my war wounds.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man.
So ladies, did any of you like try to combat any of that by going to the gym during pregnancy time?
No.
I was on the couch eating bologna sandwiches.
We were too busy eating. Yeah.
Eating and sleeping.
I enjoy gaining weight. Cause I was always small. I enjoy gaining weight. I was like, wow, I have ankles. I was excited about it.
So how much complaining goes back and forth to the boyfriend and to the husband when your body is going through the changes?
A lot. And I don't think they'll ever understand, like, truly how we feel.
Do you understand, Basil?
No, of course I don't. But I thought my wife was beautiful when she was pregnant. You know, so I mean, I think women in general when they're pregnant, I think
Yeah, they
it's a
dope. They
beautiful
just
thing.
they kind of glow a little bit, right?
So how women feel. I don't know if it's society, but it's I think a lot of it is in their head because I would think a lot of men. They're like, oh, she looks like a good pregnant woman.
And I've seen women go through some real changes too. I mean, like skin breaks out and just all types of changes that women go through. It's something different. Jay, let's hear from our sponsors.
All right, we got from our sponsors. We got Mr. Leo Papil, an entrepreneur. We got Cameron Zahidi from Urbanica, an anonymous donor. George Kramer, who's an entrepreneur. Eddie Jenkins of Eddie Jenkins Law. Terrell Calloway of Calloway Graphics. Ember Greenwich, Sweet Embers. Better Belly. All right.
Oh, Belter Belly.
Belter Belly. I'm messing that up. All right. I'm
doing the Wu-Tang.
I'm doing Wu-Tang gang. We have The Shop. Apon Nichols, Apon Cosmetics Productions, and Jamie Lewis from J. Rockwell. All right.
Did you get that out, Jay, or what?
I don't know.
I don't know. That show when she's doing it.
I don't really know the last name. It's Genuine.
Oh!
From J. Rockwell.
Candelario?
That's a hard name.
Or Barowski?
Right.
Barowski. Okay. I'm trying to get it. So let's step into another stage here. Let's talk about the ugly stage. Because it goes to a whole nother level past bad. I don't know what month it is, but it gets bad. Tell me about the smells. Oh my goodness! I've seen women that I was with, when they start talking about the smells, you better do something right away. Because when the smell factor kicks in, it's getting ready to be really bad. What happens with your noses and smells that makes you all just go a little bit to another level? And, kind of like your head spins around. You're like, oh goodness, I can smell it. What is it?
Your sense of smell is like on another level. It's like on 100. You smell every
You can
single
smell things
mile
around the
away.
corner,
Yes.
down the street.
Yeah.
From a mile
It's like
away.
you have sonic powers or something. It's
Yes.
Talk about
so
ladies.
bad.
I'm saying you could smell the smell from a mile away, though.
What's it with the smells bothering you though?
I didn't have
Just
any
different.
smells bothering me. I was good. I didn't. Nothing like no
It was
smells
certain things.
bothered me.
I couldn't smell fried foods.
You couldn't smell.
No.
Really?
Any food frying, no, it made me sick. Like to the point where I was in the toilet vomiting.
Oh, wow.
It's been 11 years. I still cannot eat Popeye's chicken.
What? No Popeyes for you?
No fried food at all?
No. I mean, I eat fried foods now, but something about the Popeye's chicken when I was pregnant, when I smelled it, it made me so sick.
I'm glad to say, I'm glad they're not one of our sponsors.
Yeah.
We
Until this day, I can't stomach it.
Wow.
Yeah, you know what was ugly for me, Che? I remember having to get up at like 2 o'clock in the morning and having to go to the store to get some cheesecake.
Oh goodness!
And I was like, no, I'm not going to get some cheese. Oh, if you don't go get the cheesecake, the baby is not going to. I was like, what? The baby. I'm like, what?
The baby is not going to.
Yeah, and it was like random stuff like cheesecake. I want carrot cake. I was like, what do you want cake? Why don't you get some Jell-O?
We're going to stay with that, too. So tell me, what were your favorite foods? Or you know what, too? Tell me, what smells did you like? What smells that just made you feel good? And what were your favorite foods during that pregnancy period?
I would say, this is so gross, and I can't drink it now, but I would drink milk by the gallon. Out the gallon. By myself. Yeah, I would probably go through about 2 to 3 gallons of milk a week.
Wow. Oh, my goodness.
By myself. Wow. Yeah,
That
it was really
healthy.
gross. And then right after the pregnancy, I could not stomach milk. Like, I will not drink milk anymore.
No milk.
No, but I craved it so bad. I needed it so bad. So that was one.
Smells in food. Smells in food. What were your favorites? Excuse me.
I didn't really have a favorite food.
Everything?
Everything was fine for me.
Was there any smells that you it was something?
What smell bothered me? I don't know if it's the prenatal pills that we take, but our fart smell.
Oh my goodness! Okay, yeah. I was gonna mention that. And the ugly. It goes through a whole. Let me get back to that one because that's a whole section of the show. I wrote that in the appetizer, but I wasn't sure I was gonna mention it today. We gonna come back to that one, okay? Because none of those smells are usually good, but you seem to enjoy it. You said.
I didn't enjoy that smell.
Oh, okay. I just said we'll come back. So tell me what food you enjoyed and what smells were good to you.
Smell like a minty smell, like mint or lemon. That's what I enjoyed, and it actually helped with the nausea.
Okay.
So I would have like 1,000 packs of gum in my purse, like just put one after the other.
That mint smell,
to keep from like wanting to vomit from smelling anything else. Yeah.
Yeah, my wife. I remember bringing home boxes and boxes of mangoes. She loved mangoes.
Really?
Lots of mangoes.
Wow. Was it any? You said you got morning sickness, right?
Did I get?
Did you get?
No.
Oh, you didn't. Okay.
No,
Okay.
Yeah, he was sick in the morning.
I'm sick of buying them mangoes.
I think for all 4 pregnancies, across the board, something that I think it was peanut butter and jelly, and a glass of milk after that. That was what I liked, and the smells that kept me from being nauseous, I think, or just the smells that I liked. It was peppermint, and it was like just fresh smells, like anything fresh that smelled like detergent, or I just loved smelling those things. Anything clean.
A woman's body goes through changes. Just the stuff that detergent. Get up in the morning, I gotta smell some detergent. I'm gonna take his head off. I gotta go downstairs to the laundry first. How about you, Jay?
You all already know my answer. My favorite food and smell was a nice fried bologna sandwich.
Fried bologna.
Piece of cheese on it.
How about you crunch some chips to go on it too? Crunch some chips on it. So hold on. Let me just keep moving along here. So one thing that I can remember too for myself, I felt like I went through the whole stage with my ex-wife and my kid's mother. My favorite smell was gasoline.
Wow. He likes the smell of gasoline. He still likes the smell of gasoline.
I don't know what it was. But after the pregnancy was over, it was like, what is, oh God. But I go to the gas station, just sit there, just to get $2 worth. Just $2. I need something that's going to make me happy.
You associated the gasoline with being out of the house.
That's what it was. It's just being happy. Goodness gracious. But you brought it up. I didn't. The pregnancy farts. What happens to a woman's body? Oh my goodness!
Like
boom! Oh my goodness! And I just I'd sit there and everything's cool. And then I pull the covers up or something. It was like, oh my, what the? Is that my child? Yeah, then, of course the woman, that's the baby. That's not me.
Blame it on the baby. That's two fox. Not one fox, two fox.
Can I just say that they were on another level?
Oh my goodness.
Another level, and and I had to do a lot of, it's all right. It's all right. It doesn't smell that bad. But
so you must have got warned not to say too many bad things before. You better not come home today.
No,
or you
just ignore it. You just ignore it. You act like
there's no way you can ignore that. That's some old different stuff. But the one thing too that was difficult for me was, oh my goodness, it would be all hours of the night, and here we go with these special requests. Oh, I want the Chinese food. I want the wings from this place. I want the rice from that place. And the lo mein I want from the Bronx, New York. Yep. I mean, you just running everywhere. Tell me about where you ran your husbands or mates around to get food. Any crazy stories?
Mine was ketchup one night. I remember we ran out of ketchup, and I wanted French fries in the middle of the night. So I had to have ketchup. So he had to go search around for hours until he found ketchup.
Some ketchup.
Ketchup.
See what the guys got to go through?
Was always
ketchup.
And then he come back, she don't even want it. I had mustard. Take too long. Anybody else?
Mine was sour apple lollipops.
Sour apple.
You gonna get that? You gotta find the most ghetto store in the neighborhood.
He didn't even go. He said, "No, I'm going back to sleep."
Sour apple. Where are you gonna find one of them? That's where you gotta find one of those old corner stores that got pickles in the jar.
Yeah, it was a craving.
Oh my goodness! How about the rest of you? Anything crazy you had to do?
I think my first pregnancy, I would make him go out and get me cookies and cream ice cream, like after all the stores were closed. Yeah.
And don't come back without it. Don't come back without it. Anyone else?
Ice cream, goobers.
Goobers.
Yeah, I
Where
used
you
to
gonna
get
find?
that too.
You gotta get goobers at the same place you get the apple stick candy.
I had a steak one night. I made him go out to Star Market. It was the 24-hour Star Market, and he made me a steak with onions.
At what time was this?
Oh, it must have been like 3 a.m.
Oh my goodness!
And I tore it up. It was so good.
So how many of you really got aggravated by just seeing the sight of him, just looking at him at a certain point, just made you angry, made you sick, and then once you kick him out, you want him back? Huh? How about that one?
No, my husband was my savior. He didn't have to go out and get crazy stuff because I was addicted to bologna, but he had to do crazy things. Like for my second pregnancy, I was on bed rest for 3 months on an incline like this in the hospital.
Goodness.
So when I got home from the hospital, he had to give me steroid shots and he had to wash me up because I could only lay on my back. And we were young at the time, so when I got home, I'm like, you gotta give me a sponge bath, and you gotta give me these needles in my booty. He was like, I don't think so, Taisha. I was like, yes, I think so. You're gonna have to, I'm gonna stink. I'm gonna be in this bed stinking.
So there's some men out there doing some good things for the city.
He was awesome.
Men doing good things. We have a caller. Let's hear from our caller. Caller, how are you today?
What's up? What's on the menu? It's your boy Rich Future. Check it in. How y'all doing today?
Rich Future, I could have swore we had you on the panelist list today. What happened, brother?
Yeah. I got stuck on the road, but I wanted to call in because my baby mama, she got me doing brownies every night, yo. Dunkin' Hines brownies, the microwave ones, yo. And it was crazy, so. I was just loving it, yo. Loving the show.
Doing the
loving everything you guys are doing over there.
Thank you, Rich Future. I appreciate it, man. Tell me one more crazy story since we have you on the phone. What was one of the other crazy periods of the pregnancy for you that you can remember?
Crazy period of the pregnancy was, let me see. The craziest period. I think it was after the period. I think a woman really gets her body after a period. Like they skinny before, but afterwards, like a woman don't got her body till she have a baby. That's just my thing.
That's a good point.
After she was she looked even better than she did before she had the baby. So ladies, keep pushing it out. More babies.
Y'all hear that one? Rich said, Rich, thank you for calling in, my brother. I appreciate you.
Oh, I appreciate you guys having me. I can't wait to get back and get in the studio with you guys.
There you go. Thanks, Rich. So how about that, ladies? How about that? Do you agree with him that you really don't, your body doesn't really come together until after you have a baby, or does he know what he's talking about?
Your body's never the same.
Yeah,
It's never the same.
after you have a baby.
Yeah, metabolism is totally different.
Let us feel this. Let us feel this. Let us know.
I think you get more curves. You know, I think you get that kind of, I don't know, was it Coke bottle or whatever you want to call it? But you definitely get some hips after that.
Well, y'all gotta explain this to me. Beyonce has babies and she comes back looking just like
Beyonce has money.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to check on the Beyonce factor. You know, J-Lo and all of them, they bounce right back like it's nothing.
They have personal trainers and everything like that. You don't bounce right back. You have a whole bunch of extra skin that you didn't have before that makes you feel some certain type of way.
Sure.
That's hanging.
You know, I got to go back to that part too. That's one part that is scary. When a woman is having a baby, like I said, the doctor should have warned me on what centimeters meant, all right? I have no clue. 1 centimeter, 3 centimeters, 5 centimeters, and I'm like, why are you counting centimeters? And then I look down, I said, oh my good, it's coming out of it's getting larger and larger and larger. What am I going to be able to do once this is over? Because I have never seen anything like this. I almost passed out when that. I said the shoulders and everything are coming right through there.
Yeah.
I said, you talk about scared. I almost passed out, and then no one told me. Like I said, I was very immature about the placenta. When that came out, I thought it was a myth. I thought it was a twin. I was like, what is going on here? What is that?
I remember that.
I was shaking at the knees. I was almost out. Ladies, talk about that. What is it? I remember my kid's mother told me once she pushed and the baby finally came out, it was like the sun rising above her and the rays of warm sunshine just coming down on her. What was that moment like, ladies?
Oh, it was such a relief.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to know, can we go through it too? Not quite like them, but we go through it.
Yeah, so you push the baby out and you're thinking, hallelujah, like I did it. And then they tell you got to push again and you're like, what? For what?
Do you still feel something?
No. We think we're done. Our job here is done. But no, you have to push again for the placenta.
Do you feel that part happening, or
You feel pressure.
Yeah, they push on your stomach.
Yeah, it's not as bad as the birth itself.
They always say pressure. What do you mean by pressure? You feel pressure?
Like
when you
pulling and
that's like that.
So,
pushing.
so did you accidentally did poop accidentally come out when
could that happen?
Of course not me.
Then after all those bologna sandwiches.
I'm still trying to figure out why they put it in the to-go container.
Yeah.
I remember that.
What they gonna do with that?
The aluminum, and then I know some people eat it. Some people eat the placenta.
Okay.
Really?
Those are the people that have some problems. All right, we're not talking about that part. We didn't say the good, the bad, the ugly, and the problem people that eat placenta.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh my goodness!
I had 2 C-sections, so that's a total different experience. It's like you're going into a surgery, and they block off everything. You can't see anything.
Wow.
And my medicine started wearing off. I started feeling things, and I was like, "Oh no, this ain't gonna happen." I feel it. And they just take the baby out. My husband was just like overjoyed, but he almost fainted to see all the blood hit the floor.
Yeah,
there was a lot of blood.
It was like a crime scene.
Yeah, you know what's so crazy too? Because I remember when my son's mother was giving birth, where I think like when it's like I feel like it was rushed. Like the birth was kind of like rushed, and the doctors came in there and they was like, "Oh, we're gonna have to induce her." I was like, "What does induce mean? What's that mean? What's happening? What do we have?" Because my first, I'm like, what's happening? And I felt that anxiety, and they was like, "Oh, we're gonna have to give her like a C-section." And I was like, "What? She can't, y'all can't wait? You know what I mean? You can't wait." And I felt like it was like a rush process.
It was really fast.
But then come to find out, hospitals, right? They make more money off C-section than they do off natural birth.
Really?
Yeah.
I'd like to believe that it's all about the health of the woman. Here you go into the business.
I'm just saying.
They want their money. They want their check from jail.
So with C-sections, they also can control, when the baby comes out. So they have a better control over it than waiting on, when the woman pushes it out.
Yeah.
So they want to be, in control of it.
So ladies, tell me, how did it feel once you finally pushed out? What was that feeling like? Would it be the same as when I jump around when we win a Super Bowl? Would it feel like that?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
that?
Joy.
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You're
Feels
thinking, I have my life back again because you're so restricted
Sure.
when you're pregnant that, there's a lot of things you can't do. So you feel like, oh, I can't wait to
Tie my shoes.
have a glass of wine. Like, there's so many thoughts going through your head, the things that you can do.
How about you?
Well, it was a complete shock when he came out. I'm like, wow, I'm really a mom. I'm going to have to take care of this boy, So it's a life thing. It's like a connection right away once they put that baby right on your... I didn't expect that baby to come right on my chest right away after all that exercising.
Sure.
But just to see all the 10 toes and the fingers, like...
I needed a nap. It was
just
I
to see
needed
who
a
the
nap.
person, who that baby has, like the little features, like, wow, he actually came out from me. Just expecting a healthy baby boy. So
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm just going to keep it real. They don't look right when they come out.
No. We're going to talk about ugly babies in a minute. Go ahead.
There's that connection, like, oh, yay, I'm a mom. But then there's also that, like, oh.
What's wrong with his head?
What's wrong with his head? And why does he look like that? I was like, oh, that doesn't look right.
Only because they've been in water for 9 months.
But fellas,
what do you think you would look like, huh?
It don't look right.
See, fellas get a little ridiculous too, because the first thing you want when the baby better look like me.
That's
The
right.
baby better look like me, and the baby don't look like nobody until someone's mother or someone say, "Oh, he looks just like that." Baby don't look anything like me. Fellas, what did you get with?
Well, babies morph. As they grow. When he was born, he looked more like me, but right now I don't have the forehead that he has. That's all my wife. She got the forehead.
She got the forehead. Go ahead, forehead.
Yeah.
All right, Jay. How about you?
I don't know, man. I felt like, I just felt like he kind of looked like me. You know what I mean? He didn't even cry when he came out. He cried a little bit, and then he was just like,
Chill.
Daddy, what's up? I'm here.
My son didn't cry either. It was a cesarean section. They pulled him out, and he just sort of
just looked around.
That's how my son
like he was here before. And then they had to do this to his stomach to make him cry because they said that that was going to bring up whatever's in him.
Sure.
Really?
So, fellas, what was your experience like being inside, watching your child being born?
Listen, right? This is a true story, and I remember, like, how when the women have like a C-section, they put that blind up, right? So I'm kind of tall, so I'm like, okay, Jay, don't look over here, right? Keep your eyes over here. Get the baby. You about to do your thing, whatever it is that you need to do. So, off my peripheral, I looked, and then all I saw was like the inside. I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Look at this, and then I was like, oh my god, I'm about to throw up.
You can see the baby too?
No, just the whole, because it was
layers.
a C-section, and then so the whole skin was out, and then you could just see the whole intestine, everything. I was like,
that's the good, the bad, and the ugly all rolled up into one.
everything, and I was like, oh man, like this is. I was like, yo, listen, I know you from the inside out right now. Okay, you better not talk no trash. Right? But yeah, man.
Reverend Wall, we want to hear your experience as well. You're not getting over too easy on this one here. You and Dad a couple of times as well.
What's the question? What?
So, tell us what you felt like when just that process here. Did your wife call your names, and what was that whole process like for you?
They called me in right before he came out. So like I said, I saw them pull him out, and I'm not a big crier, but
It was an
times
emotional
like
moment.
times like that, most things I'm kind of like with my son when he's born. I'm just like, But at that time, there was a few tears.
Reverend Wall, what was it like for you, Reverend Wall? What was it like the process? And just remember, your wife's upstairs, and I'm sure she can hear the broadcast. What was it like?
When my first son was born, when he came out, his head was shaped like a football.
Oh, my goodness.
And I didn't know how to handle it. And I didn't say anything to my wife. I just looked at my son and I said, I'm going to accept you. I will keep you.
Unconditional
love. When my wife finally looked at it and heard me say what I said, she said, you knucklehead. That's part of that whole birth canal process.
Yeah.
He'll be okay.
Yeah. One of the things, too, that I can remember during the pregnancy. My ex-wife would get me so mad over stuff. Man, did you do anything as crazy as this? I would put all my clothes 4 a.m. in trash bags, get up and take them all the way down. I'm out of here. I'm leaving now. I go up and down the stairs, put my clothes in the car, drive about a half a block, and
coming right
how
back.
am I going to get back in this house without looking like a fool? How am I going to get back in the house? Come back in. Oh, I forgot my keys. Anything, so she would say something to get me back in the house. Brothers, did you go through any times like that?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, come on, Jay, tell us.
It was crazy, man, because women just get these mood swings. And then I just think, like, I wasn't, like, mature enough to, like, handle it, And then I'd be like, yo, like, why you want me to go to the store? And it's, like, 3 o'clock in the morning. You be wanting weird stuff. And then, like, the way that I smell, she was, like, complaining about that. And then it was just like, oh, you think you all that? You think you all that? Like, no, that's the littlest thing. Like, it would bother her. You know what I mean? And I used to be like, yo, like chill out, But I mean, I never like took my clothes, put it in a bag though. Then I had to unpack them.
Oh my God, you be so
unpack the clothes, Trey.
And then you got to bring them back upstairs 3 floors, looking like an idiot.
Sometimes the hardest thing is getting ripped a new one and not saying anything back.
Yeah, but you good with that though,
just sort of taking it, But every once in a while, I got something smart to say, But in situations like that, clearly there's no winner. When you win an argument, sometimes you lose the battle.
So ladies, now let's be totally honest here. Every baby in the world that's born, you get someone that walks in the room and says, that baby is beautiful. Right. And I have to say to myself, are we looking at the same baby? Because that baby right there doesn't, no. Ladies, is there such thing as ugly babies? I'd like to hear this from a panel of women. Let's just start here.
God forgive us.
You did not say no.
They're not ugly. I think they're just different. I think every baby's different when they come out.
Okay.
And then over time, their features change.
Okay.
That's a good political
That's a
answer.
good, yeah, she should be.
Yeah,
she should run for office.
I try to be careful with my wording.
Okay.
Because I'm not gonna call any child ugly.
Oh, so all babies are beautiful in your eyes.
I mean, if they're ugly, whatever, I keep it to myself. I don't say it out loud.
So there are some babies that shouldn't get that title.
I don't know.
There are some babies that you just go, aww. And you leave it at that.
Yes, right. It's going to get better. You got time. You're going to morph into something different, hopefully.
I personally haven't seen any ugly babies, but, mathematically there has to be ugly babies out there. It's kind of like a disability. So just like any other disability, you should treat that child like they're cute. Okay. Regardless of how you personally feel, you still want to instill that confidence in that ugly baby.
Spoken from a true educator. How about you?
Well, I mean, there's a scale from 0 to 10, so babies fall within those numbers.
So there's all some 2s and 3s, right? Yeah. Until hopefully they change. Please look like someone I know. Taker.
I don't care if the baby comes out looking like Sammy Davis Jr. I am not going to say that the baby's ugly. I'm going to do one of her moves and go, oh. Yeah. So boing, boing, boing.
So ladies, we have about 3 minutes left. Tell us, you've gone through the good, you've gone through the bad, you've gone through the ugly. What is it like being a mother? What is it like being a new mother?
It's scary, but it's great. You know what I mean? You have a new life. I think it's a wonderful thing.
And tell me, you know what? And part of that question, Drew, tell me what goes through your head. What do you? Everyone's like, men are like, oh, my son's going to be a professional athlete. This one's going to be a doctor. This one's going to be a lawyer. What are the other things that go through your minds? I'm going to give everybody a chance to answer.
The biggest thing was, as long as they're healthy, I don't care what they're going to be. So my biggest thing was I just want them to be safe and healthy.
Okay.
You don't want them to be a bum, do you?
Yeah.
You want them to be
Come on now.
Come on now.
Yeah, of course. I wish the best for them, and I pray that they turn into be something great. But regardless, I'm gonna love them anyway, no matter what they are.
True indeed.
And you know what? Add into that too how you choose the names as well. How did you get to the point where you chose the name for your baby?
Oh, well, I know I wanted an M name because my name starts with an M.
Right.
So I took the letters from my name and created his name, Makai.
Makai.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice strong name. How's Makai doing?
Makai's great.
How old is he?
He's 8.
He's 8. He's doing well.
He's doing well.
What's
You know,
Makai
that's
want to be?
challenging. What does he want to be?
Yeah.
A veterinarian, he says.
Oh,
he
he's
likes
focused
animals
already, huh?
Yeah, that's what he says now.
Tomorrow,
But I'll support whatever he chooses. I'll support whatever.
Here we go with the mamas.
There you go.
As long as they're healthy, whatever they want to be,
Whatever he
I'm going to
chooses.
support it.
Better not be no bum.
Go ahead.
Of course, you want your child to be something great, right? But you always want them to be safe. So that was my biggest thing is I don't want anyone to ever hurt my child. You try to protect them the best you can.
This all goes through your minds as young mothers?
As soon as the baby comes out, you're like, oh, nobody better hurt my child.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then it's a learning process, like, throughout, their childhood and throughout the years.
Sure.
You don't always have all the right answers. You learn as you go as well.
And the other thing, too, that hits you kind of quickly, too, that you don't realize, I was just a kid myself.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden, I'm taking care of a child really quick. 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Anything you want to say?
There's nothing like being a father.
right.
It's not comparable to
All right.
I just became like Mama Bear, almost like instantly.
Okay.
And I just knew that I didn't want my kids to ever go through the things that I went through when I was younger. So,
Okay. I want to say to all my children, eat plenty of Chinese food. That's what your daddy likes.
That's right.
Have a good time. I want to thank our panelists. You were wonderful ladies. You were very honest. I appreciate you. We love you, Jay. Take us out.
Hey, I like to leave everybody with a quote. If you kiss her mind, her body will follow, by the great Pharrell Williams. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. Keep knocking, keep rocking. I'll holla. You like that, Jack? I do it 3 times.